Thanks, Wallace, for the kind invitation, and welcome to the session on Web of Science today. And I wanted to introduce myself first. My name is Ying, and I'm the solution consultant for Clarivate. Now, in the next 1 hour, we will talk about how to leverage the Web of Science citation network to complete in-depth, comprehensive search for your research fields and make data-driven decisions about your manuscript submission. And if you have any questions during the sharing, you can leave the message on the chat panel. And if time is limited, I will send the follow-up memos to answer all the questions after the section. Now, let's begin our today's journey. So usually we have a lot of sources available to meet the information needs of your research project, like the search engines, search databases, and data repositories. They are all differ in reliability, relevance, and organizations of data. These make it tricky to navigate and assess what's the best for your research at hand. So how's the other researchers all around the world are just in the same situation, and what are their choices? As noted in the Global Research Report published last year, seems Web of Science stands out the most powerful and trusted citation database. And noted in the report, in 2019, over 104 sites to discover the key literature to inform their current research. Guided by the legacy of Dr. Eugene Garfield, the inventor of citation index for research literature. Now, Web of Science is the world's most powerful research engine. Actually, Web of Science is a platform that's designed to support scholarly research across all academic disciplines with the best in-class data. You can be confident in your understanding of a field and in your decisions when you start with Web of Science. And Web of Science is even though we just talk about Web of Science, and you can gain a comprehensive view of worldwide research across the sciences, social sciences, and arts and humanities. With Web of Science, you can quickly pinpoint and assess quality peer-reviewed full-text research. You can track ideas across disciplines and time. And also, you can review those meaningful linkage, the linkage just between the past and current research, and also the linkage between collaborators, and the linkage between the fundings and research impact, and so on. And you can also keep up to date and capture an actual view of your citation impact. And actually, I just share with you with the content in Web of Science. And now, Web of Science is working as an integrated suite of tools that empowers our researchers to save time and build careers that strengthen the reputation. Now let's begin with take advantage of all the tools that save your time and help you to manage your workflow. And here's the flip through the integrated tools from the Web of Science. If you want to evaluate the funding outcomes, assess the collaborations, and identify some subject experts, or trying to benchmark against your peers, then you can try to use the insights benchmarking and analytics. And if you were wondering some information about journals, then you can take a look at the journal citation reports. And if you are interested in hot topics, then I think that essential science indicators will help you get a quick overview of our science structure. And there's also some other tools you can use, like for reference managing and bibliography formatting, you can try the EndNote. And if you want to create your personal profile and get your research and scholarly contribution noticed by the science community and learn something about the peer review, then you can try the Publix. And you can access all these tools from the top bar of the Web of Science platform. And some of the tools I will introduce more details later sections. Now, this is the agenda for today's presentation. And there will be like 3 parts of this presentation. At the first part, I will start with a quick introduction of citation index, and the unique power of Web of Science citation network. A little bit more information helping us to identifying that how can we get benefit from this platform and how can we use this platform. And the second part is so the most important part. I will share some demos by using Web of Science to let you understand how can we use this platform helping us through our research journey. And the final part of the presentation is for summary, and I will show you some more sources and where to finding out more resource for your research. So that's the outline for today. Now let's come to the first part of today's presentation. And first, I want to introduce a little bit more about Web of Science, even though I have introduced the platform. But a more detailed information helps you understand why we are using this database. So I believe first, most of you have heard about the 80-20 law, which states that for many events, it's roughly 80% of the efforts come from 20% of the causes. And actually, you can find the similar law for research papers, especially for their research impact. The Bradford law states that a relatively small number of journals publish the majority of significant scholarly results. And we can see that based on the Bradford law, it's possible for us to collect this relatively small number of journals and try to start our research journey with these high impact sources, which gonna save us more times when we do literature research. And this is what the core collection, which is also the heart of the platform, designed for, trying to finding high impact and high quality data for your research. And to release our researchers from the sea, diving to the sea of scholar information and save your time. As our premier resource on the platform, Web of Science core collections only includes the sources that meet rigorous quality and impact criteria, and also helping us capture billions of cited references from the globally resources. And also, the curation process for Web of Science core collection is unique. Our editorial decisions are conducted by our expert in-house editors who have no affiliations to publishing houses or research institutions. So we can removing any potential bias or conflicts of interest during the curations. And we always keep monitoring the performance of these sources over time. So if any sources that decrease in quality and in impact will be removed from the core collection. And we keep doing this to ensure that you can have the best in-class sources when you begin search with Web of Science. Sorry, yes. And also, you can find valuable content in the Web of Science core collections is unmatched in quality and coverage. By using Web of Science, you are capable of finding any topics in any disciplines with more than 100 years of full index publications in the science and social sciences and arts and humanity. You can follow the citation pathways to trace back to older literature, identifying those important early pioneer works in the field which are still cited today by enormous influential recent papers. And scholarly research builds on the previous work, often over decades. So missing the backfiles perhaps meaning missing the key research information and an incomplete picture. And by extending access to more Web of Science content, you will be able to enhance your citation search, and you can identify the progress of major ideas and how they are branched off. And the Web of Science we always talk about is not just about science. You can also find the social science citation index and arts humanities citation index on the same platform. And as you start to brainstorm your next research project, please make sure you are using all the data available, helps you put the pieces together, particularly if you are working in highly interdisciplinary areas. And here are the details for the disciplines for social science citation indicators and for arts and humanities citation index here. I'll left the 2 slides for you. And now, you may have some ideas of what is Web of Science collection. It's like impact sources and its coverage and its depth. And I also mentioned several times to the words like citation network or citation index several times. So now you might be curious about how is the Web of Science collection working and what can we benefit from this citation network? Actually, as a citation index database, for each paper, Web of Science not only capture all authors, the author affiliations, abstracts, and keywords, and funding acknowledgement, including agency and grants numbers, but also we capture all the cited references. I mean, cited references is just like what you are seeing on the page. It's not just the list of these references. We also link these references to the records in the Web of Science platform, if we can find them. But if the reference is not in the Web of Science platform, we will stay helps you to record them and to make you finding more information through the citation pathways. And there is more curious about why are we collecting these citations and how to use these citations helping us with more information relevant to our research topic. As you can see here that a citation is the behavior or the linkage made by the authors of these papers who understand the most of the papers concepts that should be the authors. They are more familiar with the concept of their papers, so the citations can be taken as a precise, unambiguous representation of a subject that requires no interpretation and is immune to the change in terminology. Sometimes when we're trying to look up for the keywords at first, and after that you will find out that the keywords has been changed in the last few years. But as for citation, it's never going to be changed. Once this paper is published, then you will have a citation linkage forever. So that's why we collect all these citations informations. And we try to use these citations helps you create a citation network. So with the high quality and impact data from Web of Science, we create a searchable web of citations. Not just helps you to link the author names, but also the concepts and the research findings that are linked through these citations. And just like the inventor of citation index, Dr. Eugene R. Garfield said, a citation index tends to bring together materials that were never collected by the usual subject indexing. And it is best described as a citation index as an association of ideas index. And you can see that the citation linkage helps us to associate different ideas, and there's more. Once you have an index or a web of citations, you can use this to trace related scientific work backwards or forwards in time. And it allows you uncover the hidden connections to spark innovation research. And with the citation network on the Web of Science for each paper, now what you are presenting now is a complete concept, not just a particular idea. And so now it's time for us to start our research journey with Web of Science. And in the second part of the presentation, I will have some demos to show you how can we use the Web of Science platform and how to search something useful for our research project. Now, if you open the interface of Web of Science, let's begin with a basic search. And you can start with a topic search at first, which is maybe you are already familiar with. And with the interface of the Web of Science, we can enter our search words here. And also, we can try to choose a field for the search, like the topic search, we can use keyword search, we can use the topic search. But if you are interested in some institutions or some journals, then you can choose here for the another fields to search. And there is also an option for you to add more fields to your search. And this and or and not search operators helps you to combine the words and phrases. And also, and the most important, you can choose a database here because it depends on the situation and depends on disciplines you are now working at. So choose the most fitable, choose the appropriate database will help you save thousands of times. And you're gonna see a list of different databases from the website's platform. The list is depending on your institution's descriptions. But at first, here, we recommend you start your search first in the website's called collections. And then the first step is search by topics. So let's try now. And here, as for demonstration, I use a topic I'm interested in, like for the deep learning technology for healthcare. And if we want to get some ideas on this topic, then we can use the healthcare and deep learning as search terms. But here's some search tips for your research. You can try to use the quotation to search on exact phrases, like the deep learning here. Once I search here, I will only return to the results that contains the deep learning, not just deep learn or deep and learning. Now it's just come back with the results that fits the exact phrases. So it's a quick way, helps you to refine your results. And before I start the search, just one more thing I want to talk about is like the database. As you can see here, that we are talking about a topic that in computer science maybe, and also in medicine, related to medicine. And it's important to keep in mind that some scientists in computer science, they prefer to publish their preceding papers, not just only in journals. So it's a good choice to also we choose for the conference index CPCI here. Then here comes back with a result like 870 results. Is it reasonable? I think that most of us would think that, wow, it's like so hot these days, the topics. It's only returns with 800 results. It's not reasonable. Yes, it's not reasonable. And I will show you why. Because that at first, most of the time, the first search statements we are trying are not always the best. And if you do some background reading, you might realize that we can see that the deep learning is a subset of machine learning, actually. So this times we should add more to, we should search again for the healthcare and machine learning maybe. And yes, that's a right for your search strategy. And there should be more terms you should keep collect and helps you to build your own search statements. And now, after several times of statements, and we think that we are searching for some similar papers, and it's a better choice for us to combine all these results together. So as the demo here, you can see the first time I use healthcare and deep learning, it returns to 800 papers. But the second time, if I use healthcare and machine learning, it's returned like over 2,000 papers. And actually some papers just hit the first time and hit again at the second time. So it's a good choice to combine them, and for the final list, then we can sort all these results together. So you can use the advanced search here. At first, we were trying to use the basic search, and now you should switch to the advanced search once you finish the first two search here. And there's more things I want to share is that we are just having the articles that returns back with exact words of machine learning and exact word with deep learning. So if you now do more background reading, you will find that only these two words are not enough for your research topic. And we should keep in mind to collect more search terms when we do our background reading. And that's here, we can use the advanced search to combining our search sets here. And then here comes back with like over 2,900 records here. And we can find the final list on the middle and with the citation information on the right side. And for the left side, you can find those filter and refine tools. And if you want to focus on a specific area, then Web of Science categories may help you to narrow down the list in the middle. And as we showed before that we choose another databases for the conference meeting, then we can see from the results, it's like about 36% of the papers are actually proceedings papers. So please keep in mind to choose the most suitable databases for your search each time. And also here, as for the results, it's impossible for us to read all these 2,000 papers. We can use some sort options for us to sort them to make the most wanted paper look first, and then try to pick some to do the more readings. You can sort by the dates to find the newest paper, and you can choose to sort by time cited to find the papers have been cited for the most times. And also here, you may want to use the usage count. What is a usage count for? A usage count is actually a measure of the level of interest of the record on the platform. And it can tell you which papers on Web of Science has more like under the big data metrics. So you can try using this, but I recommend that you use the usage count for the last 180 days. And you can find more sort options under the more label. And you can use these sort options helps you scan the list and find the most wanted paper first. So now it's time for us to do and find some papers. I find this might be interesting with the title of A Guide to Deep Learning in Healthcare, published in Nature Medicine. And here's we'll click the title, will link us to the full record page. After reading the full text, after we scanning the abstract and the author list and their affiliations, we are going to finding these papers comes from a team of scientists, come from Stanford University and from Google. And if you are interested in more relevant papers, here's the panel you may don't want to miss. On the right side, you can find the You May Also Like panel. This You May Also Like panel is also known as the article recommendation to help you to check other records that the researchers are also found relevant when they are looking at the same page where you are. And you can choose to find more papers here, or you can just choose to stick to the original papers you found first. So if we find this paper is interesting, then it's time for us to find the full text. And before the full text, I will introduce more things that from the author list, you can see the Dr. Sebastian Thrum is on the author list. So if I begin to change my topic now to introduce the Dr. Thrum, I think I will take the rest of the 30 minutes, right? It's not enough to introduce this scientist. And I'll give a little bit more details. So some of you might watch at least one of his TED Talks. There are 2 TED Talks. It has been watched over millions of times. In the topic in 2011, and with the topic of Google driverless car, and in 2017, with the topic of what AI is and what isn't. And if you didn't watch these 2 TED Talks, it doesn't matter, because I think you might enroll the online courses of Udacity, right? And Dr. Thrum is the founder of the Udacity. So this makes us more interested in these papers, and we are eager to find the full text now. So there are some links on the top of the page, and you can find for the full text options. But here I will recommend you with more tools from the Web of Science. It's now called the EndNote Click. Maybe you have installed the former Copernicus. They're the same, and now we changed name to EndNote Click. And how to find the EndNote Click here? And you can see at the top bar of the interface, you are going to find the Copernicus and click it. You are going to install the EndNote Click. EndNote Click is a website extensions that can help you saving times when you're trying to get PDFs. And this is gonna to help us getting access to PDFs of millions of research papers in a single click. When we're trying to search with Web of Science, Actually, if we install this extension, and the EndNote Click will be automatically active and pointing us to the best available version of these articles. And now please note that you can only install the EndNote Click on this process like Chrome, Firefox, Opera, and Edge. And after finding the PDFs, it's time for us to read the whole paper. After reading these papers, we might find that there are more interesting ideas and give us more inspiration from these papers. So it's time to try another way of finding more relevant articles. We can try to follow the citation pathways. And since the terminology is changing rapidly, sometimes researchers facing the difficulties when trying to search the literature across these different disciplines by only using keywords. And since all the papers in the database are interconnected with citations, that means once you get started with the keyword search, you can follow the trail of cited and citing papers to efficiently find all the relevant literature. This is a great way to ensure you are not missing anything important. So let's try the citation network. And near the top of the records, you'll find the citation network panel at the right side. Either the cited references or time-cited reference count will link you to a list of records. Here, the cited reference, the first, is like the items that cited by this paper. We can see that for the articles A Guide to Deep Learning in Health, and it cites like 64 references here. So you can use the link to move backward in time from the article's publication date, show you where is the origin and what brought the authors to the breakthrough. And also you can try to use the time cited to go forward. It refers to the citations to this paper by other articles written after it's published. So you are moving forward in time and find out the trends and in what direction the idea is evolving. And I just make an abstract for all the details of the cited references and for the time cited to see what can we discover based on these citation pathways. Now, in the 64 references of this paper, it's amazing to find that a paper published in 2016 and it's introduced an end-to-end open source platform, TensorFlow, which was developed by Google. And also we can see finding the articles that published in 2017, and it's a prediction of the single cell DNA bioprocess using deep learning. And also it's possible for us to find free critical care databases here. And also if we try to move forward by using the cited documents here, and we can see that after the paper was published, we can find more interesting articles that might inspiring our research. And that's what we can do from the direct citations. Finding the reference, get the link, and to read more, and finding the times counted and move forward. And what else can we do with the citation pathways? So here's another thing that is like the co-citations. So what is the co-citations? And we can think that if a research paper shares citations with other piece of works, we just calculate them from the bibliographic coupling. That means these papers is likely to discussing a similar topic. So it's a chance for us to find more relevant information. And we can click the view relative records here to show what can we get here. And if you come to the related records here, and you are going to find the result list, but there's a little different from the usual result list. You can see the cited reference tells you the papers, how many references is the paper have, but also you can find a number, tells you how many references are this paper sharing with the original papers. And these two numbers gonna help you to find out how close these two papers' topic might be. And this can be a hint for us to quickly scanning the list of the related records. So Besides from the cited reference and citing documents, we can also add more from the related articles. And if you can see the numbers, you will finding that it's over 60,000 of papers have shared references with the original papers. This is huge number for our information search. And also you can find more, you may find more tips here to help you to enlarge your research topics. And that is what we can get from the citation pathways here. And there's another way to find the citation pathway. It's called the cited reference search. Why there's still a second part of the citation pathways? Because here we should remember that for the original paper, it must be in the Web of Science platform. If it's not in the Web of Science form, it's impossible for us to find the full record page of these papers. And it's also impossible for us to follow the citation pathways. But there's another try we can see using these functions. It's called the cited reference search. And if you have some ideas about TensorFlow, that you might see that the papers published about TensorFlow are most published in arXiv. And it's the preprints, since in Web of Science, we only collect the articles that have been peer reviewed. So it's not possible to include these papers, but you will find more and more papers about TensorFlow published on arXiv. So can we find any more information about the development of the topic of TensorFlow? Yes, we can. And there's tabs here besides at the side of the advanced search is the cited reference search here. And maybe you have missed it all the times and you can try this time. A cited reference search is a way to move through times. Taking a known item is like a journal articles, a book, patent, work of art, even movies and musics, really anything that can be cited and revealing its connections across the literature. Anything that has been cited, you can find more development through the cited reference search. Now let's try to see how can we do this search. As I just mentioned about the TensorFlows, that we might be interested in the newest topic about TensorFlow. So now we can search the TensorFlow as the keywords, but it's not the keywords actually, it's words that it should input in the field of site title. And here's more helps for you, more instructions for you to how to perform a cited reference search, since maybe most of you have been the first time to use these search functions. And you can follow the help and step by steps. And especially I want to remind you that in step 2, you're gonna find the hints tells you how to look for cited references variants. And that's important for us to use the cited reference search here. So you can follow the instructions and try to do this. And finally, we can get like 60,000 of results comes from the papers that has been cited. One of the TensorFlow's papers as their reference. And if you think there's too much articles to read, then we can choose to refine the results by using like the subject categories. The subject categories here is the Web of Science categories here. And there's more options you can choose. And we can see how, in which disciplines about the TensorFlow has been evolving into. And we can find that since we are more interested in the healthcare and we are interested in the healthcare and deep learning, then we might think some disciplines relevant to the healthcare. And we can see here it's like medical information is like 170 records hits, and oncology is like 40 hits. And there's disciplines named as healthcare science services, and we have like 40 hits, and about 20 in surgery, and neural imaging is 40, and there's more we can discover here. So it's possible for us to find more just outside the box. And it's not limited to the items that only index in the Web of Science. You can find, and through the citation path, find anything possible that relevant to your research topics. And if you are interested, I recommend you try to search some movies like Star Wars. And you might think that what's the relevance between Star Wars and deep learning and about healthcare? Yes, I I tried to set the search and I find out that there was really some articles that cited Star Wars as the reference for the discussion of the healthcare with deep learning. And that's interesting findings, and you can try by yourselves. And after the searching for several times and using the topic search, and we also trying the citation pathway search. Now it's time for us to combine all the results. And here we can use the analyze to find the trends. Because sometimes searching is not just about finding a specific articles. It's about understanding trends across the field and discover the landscape of your research work. So you might be curious, who is funding the research that I'm interested in? Am I can find more opportunities in the future, or who the portfolio authors are and which journals publish research in my field? You can answer all these questions by the analyze functions in Web of Science. So let's see how to use these analyze functions here. First, you can use the create citation reports to get instantly reports for any journal search and view the citation statistics for like an individual or for an institutions or like for any top results. So as an example, we will take the topic search for health and deep learning or machine learning, which returns over 2,900 results. Click the Create Citation Reports in the upper right corner of your search result set. And the citation reports make it easy to explore publication trends and citation statistics. And you can know how the publication trend is in these years, and it's growing really fast these years. And also there is a function here showing you that like for these 2,900 results, how are their how is their citations, and you can analyze their citations after in this panel very quickly. And also here's the tables. Numbers helps you to identify the influential papers in a specific field. And also just at the top of the create citation report, you can find another function is named analyze results. And analyze results offering you like 16 fields to analyze. And it helps us to uncover the trend and give us a quick way of visualizing them. And you can export these results. So just click the button and we will see what's happening. Now you can see that first, the fields here is free to switch from one to another. And we can try the funding ages first and to determine the past funding sources and get some ideas to where to look for open opportunities. And also we can find the potential collaborators, and you can use the fields of authors to identify those top output researchers, but also finding the researchers that potentially can be your potential collaborators. And where are they affiliated and are they highly cited? All these answers can be using by the analyze function here. And also you can analyze more information in all these fields and easily switch between fields by just click the options you want on the left side of the page. And here, just one more field interesting about analyzing the function is the source titles. Because sometimes we are prepared to submit our manuscripts finally. Then we're wondering which journals are the best choice for our manuscript. Now, when you just are looking at the papers, you search for the results, you can use the result to get you some hints for journal submission, manuscript submission. And you are using the fields of source titles here. And you can see which journals have published articles on your topic and how frequently. And the tree map is interactive, so you can hover over a section and then click View Records here to look at the articles for the entity. And we can see that we can find the only articles that publish in the specific journals that we are interested in. And we can find more information. Just click the source title here, and there will show you some more information about the journal information, like from the journal citation reports. And there is also some ways helping us to move to the journal citation reports and helps you to discover the influence and value of the journals. Usually, people try to look at the journal impact factor at first and also at last. So there's only one number for these journals, and it's apparently not enough if you are trying to submit your manuscript here. And journals cannot be fully understood by a single numbers. And this journal citation report just provides you extensive information for you to make informed decisions. Like you can see the author's distributions of this journal. And you can also find the country distribution of the journal. So you can now understand if you submit your manuscript, who are the audience and where are they come from. And this information are extremely important if you want to make your research recognized by your peers. So besides from the experience, and you can also make data-driven decisions about your manuscript submission using publications and this citation data in tools from the Web of Science and from journal citation reports here. And we just mentioned about 3 parts of the using Web of Science. And now it's time for us to set up alerts here. The truth is there are so many literatures to read, and Web of Science gives you tools for saving your search and setting up email alerts to stay up to date. There are 2 types of alerts you can establish. First is alert notification for your topic area. This means that you can return to your search at any time. And if you can stay up to date about the new research paper included in your search results. And the second is the citation alerts for paper of interest. So let's see where can we find these alerts and how can we use these functions. First, if you want to create alerts for the search result, you can just try to click the create alerts here on the left side in the result list panel. And the Web of Science platform will send you the new results either daily or weekly or monthly for the topics or author or organization or any searches you created. And you can create or sign into your personal profile first and then click create an alert from your search result list to save. And second, if you are more interested in the development of specific articles, then you may want to create citation alerts to send you notification if there is a new citation occurs to these specific papers. You can use the citation alerts to watch for new citations to your own work or to the important articles in your field. And it's on the right side in the citation network panel. And so let's summarize our use of Web of Science today. We can use at your start to brainstorm your next research project. Please make sure you are using all the data available helps you put these pieces together, and particularly if you are working in high interdisciplinary area. And it's a good idea to start with the topic search, which you are familiar with. And you can do some background readings to find out what has been done. Then follow the citation path. You can try to expand your information sources. And also, you can use the analyze results helps you understand the trend across the field. Find out who the prominent researchers and the institutions and the funders are in the field. And finally, you can keep track of publications in your field by creating alerts, notification on the platform. And you can see that for Web of Science, it's more than just a search. And there's more about Web of Science platform. As I first introduced, there are more tools here. So maybe if you are interested in the hot topics, then you should try the essential science indicators. Essential science indicators is compliance of science performance statistics and science trends data. It's derived from the Web of Science Core Collection Journal Citation Index. And here are two ways you can find the research from here. You can find the research from by research field. In ESIs, the ESI categories, which has been divided the science and social science into 22 categories. And also you can see the hot topics by keywords for the whole science world here. You can use the research from filters here. Now there's an example for us to see what's the research from in computer science. And also I try another way to search for the hot topics in keywords by the keywords of healthcare. And you can see that actually the hot topics here for healthcare is relevant to the computer science, like for the big data, like for adaptive neuropathy interface system, and so on. And it's gonna showing us more trends outside our mind and outside the world and make us stay up to date to the newest development in each disciplines here. And also, after that, finding the more hot topics here, and we've already collect enough information for us to use, then it's a good choice to keep track of the information. While you are doing in background reading phases of your research, you will come across like a lot of sources and you won't know if them will prove useful in the future. So a handy type of software to help you keep track of all your findings is called the citation management software. And it will be extremely valuable when it comes to using the resources you end up needing. So you can use the EndNote for 3 steps. The first, try to use this to collect information from all sources you have. And second, trying to use EndNote helps you to organize and manage your references. And the third, you can try to use this software helps you to format your manuscript and format your bibliographies. Now let's take a look at how can we try to use EndNote online. So here, if you want to collect those results from the Web of Science platform, it's really easy. Just try to pick the articles that you are interested in, and then you click the export here, and you will find EndNote online. And just click EndNote online, and this record gonna send immediately to your personal EndNote account here. And you will find the results here, and you can collect from different types of platforms here. And the second one is that after we collect several references from different sources and different platforms here, we can try to manage your references. And you can create groups for your references for records to make you understand what kind of information you are having and how can you use them for your future research project and so on. And also, if you're trying to use the different menu list here, you will find organized, and it helps you to deduplicate your reference to keep the record list the most efficient ways here. And also, there was like 2 GB file attachment for each EndNote online account. So you can just upload your PDFs here and you can visit your personal library in any corner of the world. Just be careful that just to make sure that you can connect to the internet and it's working here. And the last step is to try to reuse the informations that we have from the collections and trying to use them as the references here for our manuscript. So I think that it's tedious to format the references. But once you have connected to the site while you write plugins from the EndNotes and with your word processor simply, and then you can try to use EndNote to format your references for in one click. So place your cursor where you want to. I've here prepared a video for you to show how the EndNote is gonna helping us with our citations here. So sorry, can we try to play the videos here? Oh, it's working. I feel a little mistakes here. I really want to play this for you. And oh, I can just introduce the process here. At first, if you want to choose a place you want to cite to appear, and then just click insert citations to search for EndNote references without leaving the word. Then the search for citations you wish to include using a keywords, and then you highlight citations you wish to include it and click insert, and the selection will appear as an in-text citation and as a cited reference at the end of your documents. And maybe I will try again to show you the videos about how this is gonna work here. Here, and I'm having like here. This will. I'm sorry. A minute, please. Just wait a moment. It's not playing again. I'm sorry, there might be some mistakes. It's not working now. Okay, now it's working. So you can see you click where you want to insert the references, and then it's open a window, and try use keywords to find the references in your personal library, and then click the insert here. And you can see at the index and at the end of the manuscript, you are seeing how the references can be. And you can add another one, just like repeat the procedures. And just like this, and there's one more most fantastic things is that if you choose another journal to submit, and you can just to change the styles of your references in one click, just like this, finding drop-down menus and finding the format that you want to submit, and then click the name, and then EndNote will automatically format the references type for you. So just saving our like hundreds of hours to formatting all these tedious references, right? And so at last, I will share another tools that some of you might be interested. If you want to create your personal Scholar files, then you can try the Pablos. How to visit the Pablos? At first, just like other tools, you can access to the Pablos website from the top bar of the website platform. And you can create your personal files on the Pablos. It's not just showing our peers what you have been published, but also it's gonna help you to showing all your peer review and editorial works here. And you can track the citation automatic scores for the papers you've authored and review or edit. And you can even download a record of all your work for inclusion in your personal introduction. And so that's all. That's the second part for today's sharing, how to use websites to kick off your research project. And finally, here's some more hints for you to show where to find more resources for websites and for more instructions here. As we can see today, I introduced like websites, Pablos, journal citation reports for journals, essential size indicators for the hot topics, and EndNote for your reference management. And here's some takeaways. He hopes you want to know how can we just using websites to realize all these things. And the most important part for today is trying to making every stage of your research journey a smart one. Whether you are at the start of your career or a highly cited researcher, the suite of the integrated tools from websites will supercharge your workflow and making every stage of your journey a smart one. And we are not done yet. We are continually building our rich heritage of supporting researchers because we want to see you transform today's brilliant idea into scientific and technology reality of tomorrow. And so here's more resources for the teaching and learning. You can try all this website and hope this will be useful. And that's all for today's sharing. And thanks for today's listening, and wish you all have a nice day here.
Thank you, Ying. Do anyone would like to ask questions? Please type your question into the chat room, or you can unmute yourself. So if no, I got one questions would like to ask Ying. which is about the, I would like to ask the differences between the Web of Science and Scopus, because yesterday we invite a representative from Scopus. So as you know, Scopus and Web of Science are very similar. Their functions are very similar. So does that mean Web of Science, does that mean it focus more on the science or and technologies subjects? Can you share with us?
Okay, I will share my PowerPoint again here, and some information might be useful, I think. Sorry, many slides here. Yes, and actually, I believe that for different companies, just collect high quality information for different types of users. And it's not the difference in the coverage of these two databases. I believe that the most important thing is that we are different type of collectors for information. Like in Clarivate, there's our editors for the curations of the Web of Science, and they are just they didn't belong to any of the publishers. And to make sure we just collect these things, the information, high quality information, just without bias, right? And we think that actually, as we can see the development of Web of Science, first we have the Science Citation Index, like in 1960, I think, yes, 1960, and it has been like releasing these collections for like over half a century. So we always trying to keep our criteria just as the same as we developed the Science Citation Index at first, and to make sure that the users can have the high quality data. And we also trying to select all these data. It's not just for the coverage, it's just because that we use citation index for us to select these data. And these selections will be a little different in different disciplines. Now we add more experts in like for arts and humanities to select more high quality information, not just follow the citations impact here. There are a little bit different, and we will take attention to it. And we're trying to keep our resource just as cover to cover to index by the Web of Science databases. And so you can find the fully package of the database as you want to trace back to your research topic to any time of the development. And I think that was the difference.